Ree worked as the U.S. ambassador's personal assistant in France, and he was the kind of guy who ran the office so smoothly that the ambassador constantly praised him. But nobody knew Ree had a secret life. He was also a CIA trainee. Of course, as a newbie, the scariest thing he'd done so far was swapping license plates for agents going on missions. Watching them drive away with high-tech weapons always left him in awe. So when his boss called one day, Ree jumped at the chance for more work. Luck was on his side. The task was low risk: plant a bug in the office of the French Minister of Foreign Affairs. It was his first real mission, and he gave it his full focus. While the ambassador chatted with the minister, Ree tried sticking the listening device under the table with chewing gum. Of course, it fell off instantly. Panic set in. Quick on his feet, he asked a question to distract the two, and once they left, he grabbed a stapler and finally secured the bug. Heart racing, mission accomplished. Back home, Ree found his girlfriend Caroline cooking dinner. They'd been together for years, and today felt like his lucky day. Caroline had decided to propose to him herself. Even before he could savor that joy, more good news came. His boss was impressed with his work and sent him to pick up the legendary Agent Charlie from U.S. custody. Completing this mission meant Ree would finally become a full agent. Over the moon, Ree slipped on the engagement ring Caroline had given him and headed to customs. What he saw stunned him. Charlie, bald and fierce, was yelling at customs officers over a bag full of energy drink cans. It wasn't the drinks themselves. Inside, he had parts of his favorite gun. The argument was Charlie's clever way to prevent the officers from inspecting the backpack. Ree quickly slapped a diplomatic note on it, and customs had no choice but to let Charlie walk. Watching Charlie's mix of recklessness and skill left Ree speechless. Their first stop was a Chinese restaurant. Ree thought Charlie was just hungry, but the man whipped out a gun, held a waiter at gunpoint, and demanded the location of hidden contraband. Chaos erupted as other staff pulled out weapons, turning the quiet restaurant into a shooting range. Ree dove for cover while Charlie calmly used the waiter as a shield, returning fire. Within moments, everyone threatening them was neutralized. Charlie then shot the ceiling, spilling the contraband, and had Ree fill a vase while he sent the waiter to deliver a message to the gang boss. "I'm here." Next, they followed the waiter to a local triad gang base. Thugs tried to surround them, but Charlie handled them with brutal efficiency, disarming, dismantling guns, and taking out anyone in their way. Ree watched in awe as Charlie moved through the base like a force of nature, and when they entered the gang headquarters via fire escape, he attached a silencer to his pistol and told Ree to cover him. Bullets flew, screams echoed, and bodies fell like dominoes. By the time Ree reached the top floor, Charlie had already cornered the gang boss and forced him to give up supplier info. The gang's reinforcements arrived just as Charlie and Ree fled to a clothing factory below. Charlie used mannequins for cover, constantly shooting and moving with Ree. They ran out of bullets at the last moment, but teamwork got them through. Ree, shaken, called his boss from the bathroom to recount the chaos. The reply was calm: "Just cooperate." Charlie was the best agent, so there was no need to panic. Ree felt the weight of the mission. He might not even survive long enough to get promoted. Then Caroline called, worried why he hadn't contacted her all night, but his phone died mid-conversation. After returning, Charlie decided it was time for some sightseeing in Paris. Ree thought it was a break, but it was part of Charlie's plan. At the Eiffel Tower, Charlie revealed the truth. The triad and contraband were a cover. A terrorist group was using shipments to smuggle explosives into Paris. Now, they had to track the supplier. Ree could barely process the info before Charlie abruptly led him into an alley, supplier territory. They pretended to look for dancers to gain trust. As they entered the room, they ran into Caroline, holding a yellow cloth. She saw Ree close to a dancer and lost it. Ree tried to explain, but the elevator door closed. There was no easy way out. Charlie kicked open the room door, grabbed a gun and a charger from a man, and called Caroline. Ree had to tell her that Charlie was his partner. Suddenly, someone knocked loudly on the door. Charlie went to check, leaving Ree to face trouble alone. Two men kicked the door in and attacked him. Ree had never fired a gun and had no idea what to do. Charlie, meanwhile, calmly took out the attackers from the window, and Ree, battered and bruised, followed. The target escaped in a van, but Charlie had a tracking method using a satellite-linked watch. They followed the signal to an apartment complex, met a gang member, and waited for the leader. Charlie glanced around and found several guns aimed at him. He knelt, letting the gang rob them, including taking Ree's ring. The leader thought they were junkies trading contraband, but he was wrong. Charlie snatched a gun, took control, and told Ree to show the vase full of contraband. The sheer amount shocked the gang's men, who fled in terror. With the threat gone, Ree's hesitation vanished. He finally felt the confidence of a real agent. Ree lunged forward, slammed the guy to the ground, threw a few punches, and finally snatched his ring back. Charlie, standing off to the side, gave him an encouraging nod. Once Ree had let off steam, Charlie took control, and the two stormed into Supplier's house. The Supplier, a gang boss himself, barely flinched at the intrusion, but Charlie wasn't looking for him. He had bigger targets. Using a long pole, Charlie peeked through the window and spotted terrorists making a shady deal downstairs. Charlie handed Ree an earpiece and told him to stay in the hallway while they coordinated a full ambush. Then he slid down a rope, smashed through a window, and took out the terrorists one by one. In the chaos, he noticed a bomb at the door and quickly warned Ree to stay back. Charlie chased the remaining bad guys into another room and found they'd cut through the floor to move between levels. Ree ran downstairs while Charlie slid down a steel pipe to tackle 2 more terrorists. By the time Ree got there, 3 had escaped, and he had to aim his gun at the last one. The terrorist didn't flinch. In a terrifying move, he shoved the gun in his mouth and tried to pull the trigger. Ree froze, heart pounding, until Charlie appeared beside him. Charlie calculated the timing, activated a vest bomb, and tossed it perfectly onto the car the terrorists were escaping in. The explosion wiped them all out. While checking the scene, Charlie found something disturbing, a wall full of photos of Ree. Apparently, the terrorists had been watching him. Ree felt a chill run down his spine. Before he could dwell on it, police sirens echoed outside, and they had to leave immediately. Ree remembered the bomb on the door and was about to warn them, but Charlie stopped him. If they were caught now, the whole operation would be blown, and more lives could be at risk. The bomb went off just as the police arrived. Amid the smoke and chaos, Charlie found Ree, and they jumped into a nearby police car to escape. Ree suddenly remembered the documents in the car. They could expose him if traced back to the embassy. Charlie, always one step ahead, reversed the car, smashed into the one behind, and used the momentum to hit several other cars. The bomb Charlie had planted under the car went off, destroying all the documents. Problem solved, no loose ends. After surviving that insane day, Ree had officially finished his first field mission. Once Charlie handed over the recovered documents to HQ, they finally got a moment to sit on a bench and breathe. Ree realized why Charlie was the top agent. He did things Ree couldn't even imagine. Charlie reassured him, saying everyone has their strengths, and they made a perfect team. Ree felt a wave of gratitude. Just then, Caroline messaged, inviting Ree to bring his partner home for dinner. Charlie went along without protest. At dinner, everyone laughed, and Charlie joked around with Caroline's best friend, cracking them both up. But the mood turned deadly in an instant. The friend's phone rang. She mentioned the name Jose, and suddenly Charlie shot her in the head. Ree screamed and shielded Caroline. Confused and horrified, he demanded an explanation. Charlie explained that Jose was the code name for Caroline's best friend in the terrorist network. Even worse, Caroline herself was involved. Ree couldn't believe it. He had checked her background thoroughly before they got together. But Charlie's confidence proved he had solid evidence. He grabbed a listening device from a lamp, used it with the ring Ree was wearing, and discovered it was a tracker. Every move had been monitored. Ree's heart sank as the truth hit. Caroline had been working for the organization all along. He confronted her, but her sad look quickly turned cold. She pulled a hidden gun and shot him in the shoulder, then jumped out the window to escape. Charlie treated Ree's wound, and they chased Caroline across the rooftops. She eventually got into a getaway car, speeding away, but Charlie memorized the car details and requested a satellite search. Meanwhile, Ree's apartment was scoured, 17 bugs, 5 cameras. He realized he had been living a lie. Charlie comforted him, telling him it wasn't his fault. Love had blinded him. Then Caroline's phone rang. Ree connected it to a computer and answered. She called just to say sorry. She had genuine feelings for him, but had no choice because of her long-standing ties to the organization. The call ended before the computer could track her. Ree knew she would attack again. Charlie, ever resourceful, analyzed background noise from the call, deducing she was near a highway. That day, Paris was hosting a multinational aid summit for Africa, and a U.S. representative's plane had already landed. Ree realized Caroline's target wasn't just him. It was all the dignitaries. Charlie grabbed a driver and raced to the airport. Ree worried. Why would Caroline try to ambush the representative from a distance? Then he realized The real target was the whole summit. On the highway, Charlie spotted the terrorist car, ready to fire a rocket, but Ree warned him. Sure enough, a mannequin disguised as Caroline was in the passenger seat, a decoy to lure them out. Charlie adjusted, raced onto a bridge, and fired, blowing up the car just before it could reach the representatives. The immediate danger was over, but Ree's heart was racing. He arrived at the summit and was flagged by security because the system showed him as already present. Caroline had impersonated him. After proving his identity, he was immediately restrained when the weapon on him was discovered. He had no choice but to tell the ambassador a terrorist attack was imminent. The ambassador signaled for security to release him, though he couldn't carry a weapon. Inside the hall, Ree spotted Caroline in a cloak among the crowd. He grabbed a weapon from security, shouting to scatter everyone, and finally pointed at Caroline. She froze, realizing she'd been discovered. She opened her coat, revealing a bomb strapped to her. Ree's heart shattered. This was the woman he loved. He remembered every sweet memory, hoping to reach her, but Caroline was determined. She slowly raised her hand toward the detonator. Ree had no choice. He fired, his first intentional shot ever, killing her. Charlie arrived moments later, caught Caroline's body, and safely disarmed the bomb. The crisis was over. Charlie invited Ree to go to the US with him, but Ree declined. Paris held too many memories, and now he was a fully fledged agent anyway. Charlie was happy. This meant many more missions together in the future, with new challenges waiting. And with that, their story reached its end.